buying during the affordability crisis. I think that this was I didn't give you a heads up on the topic, but I think this is a big deal right now. This is 20 years from now. We're going to look back on this moment and we're going to be like, yo, we were in the middle of the affordability crisis or whatever they're going to call it. But that's what it is. We're living in the middle of history. Like 20 years ago when people were living in the middle of the financial crisis. Right. So when they look back on it now, like, man, I can't even believe, I bump into agents all the time. Like, man, I got licensed in 2006 or 2007. I can't even believe I even got licensed during that time or even made it, So that's crazy. But today, I just want to make sure everybody understands, right? So where we are as a whole, not just a community, the Black community, America at large, average people, we're in a pickle. We've been going to these banks, getting these loans at high ass interest rates, where the banks are essentially tripling their investment during the life of the loan. So they're pimping us. Remember, you always tell me real estate game is a pimp game. The mortgage game is a pimp game too.
Yes.
The mortgage game is a pimp game too, and I'm just now peeping it. I can't believe it took me this long to peep it. But I have a solution.
Oh.
I have a solution. And it's going to revolve around
What's up, G?
us. It's going to revolve around us coming together, right? Us saying, we're not going to let them pimp us anymore. And if we are going to let them pimp us, it's going to be on our terms. We got to go back to that. And we got to go deep into the real estate playbook and pull back out, dust it off, blow the dust off of it, the good old fashioned land contract. Why aren't we all doing land contracts? Is it because we're thirsty for the bread up front? I mean, you can have some passive income. You get to control the sale. You get to cross out these high ass interest rates.
You still gotta have good credit, right? Or decent credit.
That's if you want them to have decent credit. So
Yeah,
this is the thing. If I'm doing a land contract, so for people who don't know what a land contract is, I'm essentially talking about seller financing. I'm selling my property, and this is going to work great for our people who don't have equity. I'm sorry, who have a bunch of equity, who don't have a mortgage on their property, right? You don't have a mortgage on your property, and you need to sell it. Find somebody who can buy it, who can afford to buy it, right? I'm not talking about just based off their credit worthiness. That's a scam. This is the biggest scam. This is one of the biggest scams that they sold to us, right? So find somebody who can afford the property at payments that make sense to you. You already own the property outright. So sell it to them on a land contract where they pay you in installments. And if they default, you get your property back. But when they finish paying, you hand them over the deed. You convey the deed to them. To me, this makes too much sense. I don't have to go to a bank and see if I can get approved based off of the bank standards. And then I'm going to get this loan where, okay, if I sell my property to you for $50,000 on a land contract, at the end of that, I'm going to make $50,000 unless I include some interest in there, right? I might make $75,000 because of the interest. If I go to the bank and get that same $50,000 loan, I'm going to be paying the bank back $200,000 because they're going to charge you 6% interest and stretch that loan out. So if you ask me, from my professional perspective, this is a better deal for everybody. Sellers, you get to control the sale. Now, I definitely understand our sellers who like, man, I just want to cash out and get up out of there. I get that. But for most people, that passive income, especially if we look in the Black community, most people in the Black community are living check to check and below the poverty line and don't know what to do when they get a lump sum of money anyway. Right? So put that property on a little installment contract with somebody for the next 15 to 20 years. Let them pay you for that property. You making consistent money over the next couple of years, take that money, you know, buy you another property or stack up so you can buy another property or open up a business, send your kid to college. Just use it as extra money. Whatever you need to do. I definitely think this is a way that the black community can take back control of our neighborhoods. Because right now, who owns all the properties in the neighborhood? The banks and people who don't live in the neighborhood. The city don't even own the properties in the neighborhood. So, what say you, Nikki?
I agree. I tried to get some. I try to actually do some seller financing on a couple of properties that I had because, but they're they owe more than what it's worth, and the condition of the properties were terrible.
They was upside down.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I ain't get no takers.
Mm.
But but that it did. I don't know.
Do you think it's the
Maybe
way
it
that it's presented?
wasn't.
Do you think people just don't really understand seller financing?
No, they understood it. It was investors I was trying to because it needed those properties need rehabs.
Okay, I got
So
you.
I was trying to get them to investors. But the thing is, they were looking for fix and flip. So they wouldn't have made money fixing and flipping. They would have made money fixing it up and renting it out,
Right,
buying and holding it. But that wasn't their strategy.
right.
So it didn't work out. Um, I'm not against seller financing at all. It has to be with the right people, though. You have to be selective in who you choose to move forward with in seller financing.
Yeah,
Like if you look at someone's credit report and they had, for instance, cancer and fell behind their bill, now they're back on their feet. And like if I see like in the last year they've been paying their bills, I'll rock with them,
mm-hmm.
give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? That was a situation out of their control. As long as they got the income to show that they're doing it, and then seller financing also is a good option for people who are self-employed who make good money but but they don't want to pay taxes on that money. So it's hard to tell somebody that's making good money on their own business to, all right, well, for you to buy a house, I need you to show some income, but at the same time, I need you to pay a shitload of taxes
Right.
so that you can buy a house.
No, for real. I think specifically for people who are buying, not investors, like people going to own occupy the property. I think it's just a great way for us to pass on, keep the properties in our neighborhood. I think, man, keep and control the sale. Now, is it possible? Because this is a downfall of this, right? If in mass we are seller financing, meaning properties aren't, they're probably not going to be selling for as much as it would be if a bank came in and financed a loan. Now we're looking
Right.
at property values possibly decreasing in the area per the bank status, right? So the banks might say, hey, they're only selling for, you know, $100,000, $150,000, whatever. So I do think it would be important for us to make sure we're still valuing. So realtors are still going to be important in these transactions, right? We still need to value these properties correctly, work with the seller to get the true value of the home, right? Put together real payments, screen the buyers, you know. So I think that also, I mean, we're real estate professionals. That's our job to put together these deals. So I think if educating the people and just presenting another alternative to getting a bank loan, I think to a lot of people, seller financing isn't a real alternative. I think if we can make that another alternative, it's not only going to open the market up for more buyers, especially on certain type of properties, but it's going to create
Hey,
competition
on me
for the mortgage
breaking up.
companies. You said I'm breaking up?
You good now?
Oh, okay. But I was saying it's not. It's also going to create competition for mortgage companies. They're not just going to be able to tax everybody 7% on interest rates when people have other alternatives to financing properties.
Like not even that. You got those loan origination fees.
Yep.
They trying to
and they discount points.
On.
Yeah, all type of stuff they have going on. Servicing fees.
You got more control over the escrow account.
Yep.
For your taxes and insurance.
We got to remember this. We are never going to borrow our way out of a situation that the people who we borrowed the money from created. We're in an affordability crisis because the people who we borrowing money from keep wanting more money. So the only way we're going to be able to fight back against that is by finding alternative solutions. And I promise you, when we start doing that in mass, the banks are going to still want our business. So they're going to change their practicing habits. They think just because they put all these rules in place that's supposed to be protecting predatory lending and all of this shit. If the only way I can buy a property is at 7% interest, then I'm just stuck. There are all the people who pay rent every month. They're paying $2,500 in rent every month, but their credit just messed up for whatever reason. They can't buy a house the conventional way. That's majority of people. So, that's my 2 cents.
South Suburbs! Taxes and bad agents are attacking your home's value. Farrior Homes is here to educate and empower you. Get your free guide at farriorhomes.com.